Okay, welcome back to the next part of unit number 3. We have discussed about the inductance, capacitance as well as the resistances. Okay, now we will move to the next part. Now, next part is the introduction to the single phase and polyphase supply. First of all, a question arises: what is the difference between the single phase and polyphase supply? Okay. Now here the difference is given on the slide. The domestic single phase supply is specifically used for the domestic application. Domestic application means our household application, means for giving the supply to the television, for giving the supply to the we can say that fan, tube light, whatever supply we are giving, that is a single phase. And normally in India, the single phase supply is having the 230 volt 50 hertz, but in USA the supply is different. USA is using 110 and 60 hertz, okay, along with the neutral. Single phase supply is useful for the low power applications, okay, and maintaining the single phase supply is easier. Therefore normally single phase supply is widely used for the household application in the classrooms, okay. But wherever we need the high power, okay, like in industries for we can say that heavy machineries, heavy power machineries, then we have to use the polyphase supply. Actually, though we are calling it as a polyphase supply, but specifically it is a three phase supply. Okay, three phase supply having the phase difference of 120 degree. Now this polyphase, hereafter I will call this as a three phase supply. It is useful in the industries for the high power applications, and it is having the four wires. How many wires? Having four wires. One is the red wire, another one is the yellow, and another one is the blue. Okay, RYB. And every supply through this red wire, yellow wire, as well as the blue wire is having the 180 degree phase shift. Okay, now as the three phase shifts are available, therefore it is known as the three phase supply. And along with that, we are having fourth wire, that is the neutral. Okay, then the square root of 3 is 1.732 times more power with the same current than the single phase supply. Means it is more efficient. If we go for the three phase supply, that is more efficient as compared to the single phase. But if we don't need the high power, then unnecessary why to go for the three phase. That's why single phase is more convenient in the household applications. And for high power application, if we try to use the single phase, unnecessary the power consumption will be more, there will be more losses, and even we need the more electrical wire, there will be the harnessing, and that is not good design. Okay, therefore three phase supply is specifically useful for the high power applications. Go to the next slide. Here in this slide we can see the waveform between the time and voltage. Single phase supply is known to us, and here you can see that how the three phases are moving with respect to the time. Okay, now there is a phase difference of 120 degree between each supply, and that's why this three phase supply is suitable for developing the magnetic field for rotating the three phase induction motor. Okay, for three phase induction motor we need the three phase supply, and whereas for single phase induction motor we need the single phase supply. Very simple and straightforward. Okay, understood. Then let us move to the next slide. If you are having any query, then you ask me through the comments, and you can even you can directly contact me. Then first of all we'll start with the machinery, single phase machinery, AC machinery, that is the single phase transformer. Now what is the transformer? Transformer is made up of a laminated core. Now what is meant by the laminated? Laminated means the different iron pieces are connected by using some, we can say that they are stick together. They are stuck together by using the conducting material, and such a why to use such kind of structure, that is for reducing the hysteresis losses, iron losses, as well as certain copper losses. We are using the laminated core. The outer part of this transformer is known as the yoke, and on either side we are having the two limbs means column like structure, we will call that is the part on right hand side as well as the left hand side. One side we can call as the primary side, and one side we can call as the secondary side, but there is no certain rule, any one side you can use for the construction purpose. On the primary side, we have to use the some winding, and that winding is called as a primary winding. Okay, and denoted as a NP. Okay, NP stands for the primary winding, and see that the primary winding uh, the decides the how much voltage can circulate through the primary voltage, that is Vp. Primary voltage is known as the Vp, and current circulating through the primary winding is known as the Ip, that is the primary current. Okay, and similarly, alternate means winding is also over the means another limb, that is known as the secondary winding. The voltages which are appearing across the secondary terminals, they are known as the secondary voltages, and the current circulating through the secondary winding is known as the secondary current, and there are two limbs. Okay, here you can see the two limbs. It is this we can say that when the current is circulating through the primary, what happens, a magnetic flux is get generated, that is known as the phi. Okay, and this magnetic flux circulate through the core, and these magnetic flux are responsible for developing the voltages across the secondary. Okay, means there is no direct contact between the primary turns, primary winding and secondary winding. They are isolated from each other, but because of the induced voltages. Now question arises, why the voltages are induced in the secondary? As per the Lenz law, we know that whenever the magnetic flux are means when the conductor comes across the moving magnetic field, the EMFs get induced. Okay, and that is equal to minus d phi by dt. The value is equal to minus d phi by dt depending upon how much is the variation. And let me clear that if we provide the DC voltage to the primary, then there no voltages will be developed across the secondary. Why? Because there must be the variation in the magnetic field, and variation in the magnetic field is possible if we provide the AC. AC means alternating variation with respect to the time. If we provide the AC voltages as the input, then what you will get? Because of the AC voltage, the magnetic flux will be alternating, and this alternating magnetic field will generate the voltage across the secondary. Understood? Means transformers are useful only for AC voltages, not for the DC. Okay, for DC we don't use the uh, we don't use the transformers. If we need to means up convert or down convert the DC voltages, then we have to convert DC into the AC, and then we have to use the transformer, and again we have to do the reverse operation at the means transmitting end. Okay, it is a static device. Now as we have learned earlier that transformers are used for what purpose? For increasing as well as decreasing the output voltages without changing frequency. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. Now in this slide again you can see that how the laminated structure is there. Transformer core here is the laminated. Here laminated means core is used, and purpose already discussed that is reducing or uh, minimizing the your hysteresis losses, iron losses, as well as the other losses. Okay, if the primary voltage is Vp and secondary voltage is Vs, then you can see here is the symbol of transformer. Okay, if iron core is used, then two parallel lines are used, as this is the iron core. If we use the dash line, that will be the ferrite core, and if nothing is in between the primary and secondary winding, that is known as the ear core. Okay, though it is not displayed here, but you can means you can understand that depending upon the parallel lines between the primary and secondary, you can understand which type of core is used. Here two straight lines are there, means here we have used the iron core. Then the transformer ratio. Here below the K value, here K is given as a transformer ratio. K is equal to V1 divided by V2, that is also equal to N1 divided by N2, and that is equal to I2 divided by I1. Where V1 is the primary voltage, V2 is the secondary voltage, N1 is the primary turns, N2 is the secondary turns, I2 is the secondary current, and I1 is the primary current. Only the current ratios are reverse as compared to the voltages and number of turns. And here you can see that the developed voltage is equal to n delta phi divided by delta t, and the inductance is given by here the number of turns multiplied by delta phi divided by delta I. That is the variation in the current. Just move to the next slide. Then here the power, okay, the total some losses are going to occur, that will be the ED current losses as well as the hysteresis losses. Now here you can see that PC is the total copper losses, which is given by I1 square into R1 plus I2 square into R2, where I1 square is the current in the primary multiplied by the resistance offered by the primary winding. Then I2 is nothing but the current flowing through the secondary winding, and R2 is the resistance offered by the secondary winding. Okay. Then hysteresis losses are due to the some resonance presence in the winding because of the previous voltages as well as the current. Okay, and which is given by hysteresis losses is given by WH is equal to KH F into in bracket Bm raised to 1.6, where K is the coefficient of eddy current, Bm is the maximum value of flux density in Weber per meter square, T is the thickness of lamination in meters, F is the frequency in hertz, V is the value of magnetic material in meter cube. Okay. Now losses in the transformers and type. Now below the two diagrams are given. One is of a step down transformer and other is a step up transformer. Can you uh, can you see the difference between step up and step down transformer? Almost the structure is same. There is no change in the core material, but if you closely observe the winding in the step down transformer, if you see the windings of a step down transformer, the number of turns in the primaries are more as compared to the number of turns in the secondary. If we use more number of winding in the primary and less number of winding in the secondary, that type of transformer is known as a step down transformer. And vice versa, if we use a less number of windings in the primary and more number of winding in the secondary, that is known as a step up transformer. Okay. Now 1 minute. In the step up transformer, if we have given, for example, in the step down transformer, if we have given the input voltage as 100, and if number of turns are also 100, and if the number of turns of secondary is 50, then at the output of secondary you will get the 50 volt as the input. Okay, this is an example. Depending upon the input voltages, output voltage are going to vary by by using the ratio of primary and secondary. Okay. Now here you can see that transformer core laminates, solid cores are there, then laminated cores, then different type of cores are there, shell type of laminates as well as the core type laminates. Now you can see that first is the EI lamination, then EE laminations, L laminations, UI laminations. Now different type of laminations can be used by the manufacturer for reducing the loss, different type of losses. Okay, now go to the next slide. Then there are two type of transformer. One is known as a shell type of transformer and other is known as a core type of transformer. Now here you can see the difference between shell type of transformer and core type of transformer. uh, First of all, core type of transformer is a simple type of transformer having the very usual or conventional structure as we have seen earlier. There is one core, laminated core, then primary is there, secondary is there. How many limbs are there? This part, these are known as a limb. Okay, these are the limbs. And here in the core type of transformer, there are two limbs. Okay, and on one limb there is the primary winding and on another limb secondary winding. Okay, such type of transformers are used in the high voltage supply like a DP, means distribution of the power supply. Okay, and another type is also there, shell type of transformer, where there are how many limbs are there? One, two, and three limbs are there, but your winding is connected only at the central limb. Okay, primary winding as well as the secondary line winding both are using a central limb. Okay. Now depending upon the number of windings, number of turns of primary and secondary, here also you will get the step up or step down transformers, but winding is only on a single limb, that is the central limb. Okay. And normally this type of shell type of transformer, they are means they are having the with poor natural cooling mechanism, but they are used for the low voltage power supply. Okay. Cost is also less for the shell type of transformer, and from exam point of view, actually this difference is very important, because normally successively from the last two examination, the difference is asked in the examination, if you see that.